Hello, everybody. Just want to do a quick sound check. Alan, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, good. We're going to get started. Good afternoon. The Sustainable Materials Management Webinar Series, the joint effort between the National Recycling Coalition and the Pennsylvania Recycling Market Center. My name is Wayne Bowen. I'm the Program Manager for the Market Center and will serve as your moderator today. We would like to extend a special thanks to Bob Hollis of the Mobius Network for providing the webinar management software for this series, and Lisa Ruggiero and Laura Flagg of the National Recycling Coalition for the RMC webinar promotion and technical support. Today's webinar focus is on ceiling tile recycling. Our presenter today is Alan Jackson, who I will introduce in a moment. Following his presentation, we will conduct a question and answer session. If you have a question or comment, please use the webinar dialog box located on your screen. You may also use the dialog box to request assistance if you're experiencing technical difficulties. Please note that an edited version of this webinar will be made available via YouTube links on the National Recycling Coalition and Pennsylvania Market Center websites. And now I'd like to introduce our presenter. Alan Jackson has been with Armstrong World Industries since May of 2014, starting in the Flooring Products Division. He has been in his current recycling coordinator role since December 2015. Although new to the recycling industry, Alan brings a great deal of experience from his previous customer service and sales positions from the retail and healthcare segments. Shortly, he'll be attending various industry conferences this year, sharing information about Armstrong's ceiling tile recycling program. And now I'd like to turn the program over to Alan.
All right, thank you very much, Wayne. I'd like to start off and thank Wayne as well as NRC and the Pennsylvania Recycling Market Center for allowing me to speak here today. So as he had just mentioned, I'm the recycling coordinator here at Armstrong World Industries, and we will be talking about our ceiling tile recycling program. So for those of you that don't know who we are, just a quick snapshot. We are an industry leader in the design and manufacture of commercial and residential panels, as well as installation systems. We are a multi-billion-dollar company that operates 32 manufacturing facilities globally. We're also one of the founding members of the USGBC, as well as the CAGBC, and others globally. And even here at our Lancaster headquarters, our building is a LEED EB Platinum certification. So that is who we are as a company today. We've been around for a very long time, and the roots of sustainability have been a part of Armstrong since its founding back in 1860. And the gentleman that you see pictured there is Thomas Armstrong, who started the company actually making cork bottle stoppers. And to avoid throwing the waste into the river, what he did is he found a way to reuse that waste, that scrap, and put that towards making the first flooring and ceiling products. Now, this was a long time ago, 150 years later, over 150 years later, we are still on that sustainability journey. And what we call that is the Armstrong GREENPRINT. It affects everybody. We focus on the health and well-being of our people, our customers, not only the product and the process. But it doesn't just stop with the product. You know, we have solutions for end-of-life recycling. And that brings us to our recycling program. We've been around for quite some time. We started the program in 1990. And at the time, it was the first of its kind. It's a closed-loop ceiling tile recycling program for the commercial market. 100% of that material that we bring back from jobs, we use into making new ceiling tile. So since 1999, the birth of our program, we have diverted over 190 million square feet from the landfills across the country. There are a lot of drivers right now that is driving that C&D waste industry. Not only is it our society as a whole having that idea in the back of our heads that, you know, we want to limit the environmental footprint with everything that we do, but there's also states that are out there, building codes. You'll see a lot of state and local governments passing ordinances. Perfect example of one would be Austin, Texas this past year. Starting October 1st, they'll be required to divert half of the construction waste, find a way to recycle it, keep it out of the landfill. So there are a lot of drivers out there which is increasing this demand for recycling and diverting construction waste from the landfill. You'll see a list here. This pretty much all starts very early on in the specification process. It's important to get that construction waste management plan in place. You can see a list of materials on here that would be diverted or a part of that construction waste management plan, and you do see ceiling tiles on there. Has a big impact on recycling and C&D waste. This is also a very huge driver. There are going to be some minor differences between the LEED 2009 and the LEED version 4. The point system is still 100 points, but it's split up a little bit different. There's a new credit section, which is the integrated process. What you can see here is that this is just a comparison of what the credits, what they're staying and what credits are going away from the new construction rating system. Note that of the credits are no longer. However, the concept, like the recycled content, the certified wood, they are incorporated into the building product disclosure and optimization sourcing of raw materials. So the intent of this whole thing, again, is to divert construction waste and demolition waste to keep it out of the landfills. So by doing that, you can earn LEED credits. Like I mentioned earlier, we had started the 1999 and diverted 90,000 tons of construction waste from the landfill. And again, our closed loop makes it very easy to get that extra LEED credit, that extra LEED diversion from your construction site. And year after year after year, our program grows and grows, and we're constantly seeking out new ways to improve the program, to expand it. A lot of it starts with you, the audience here today. We are always looking to find creative ways to help contractors keep that material out of the landfills. We have a very easy process. There's 5 steps. The first, what we talked about earlier, is just to specify, is to get that construction waste management plan into the specification early on. You have to register the project, you have to confirm it, remove the tile, and then you call us for pickup. We're going to get into these steps into a little bit more detail moving forward. So like I had said, is develop the construction waste management plan, including the ceiling recycling. We actually have a guide spec on our website, which I can give a link at the end, where you can find a specification. It already has all of our information in there. It is a very useful tool. We do have some limitations on what we do accept. The main thing is we accept all brands. It doesn't just have to be Armstrong. It can be any manufacturer. It just has to be dry, pulpable, mineral fiber ceiling panels or tiles. All the metal splines, everything has to be removed prior to palletizing. We also accept all brands of dry fiberglass panels. If it does have any type of facing or anything like that, it must be easily removable. And then, of course, all vinyl or scrim-faced mineral fiber panels. You'll see on the screen here, there's two other columns there that are a case-by-case. A lot of them have to do with the foil backing. In most cases, we are able to recycle just about anything. Part of the registration process is I will ask for information about what material is being removed. If there's anything in question, what we can do is we can accept a picture or a product number. Any type of information you can provide us would help us if it's in one of those questionable categories. What we don't accept is tiles that contain asbestos. We don't accept any cast material. Gypsum ceilings or board. The main thing is that it has to be dry and it has to be clean. And the reason for that, again, is our closed loop system. We cannot take back material that is moldy or, that has any type of like pink or red dye or anything like that. The colored, that all shows up in that new material that we manufacture. Again, here is a picture of the guide spec, and that is the link where you can find that information. It's right on our website under sustainability and recycling. To register the project, you will be calling our recycling center. That goes directly to me. I will be your main point of contact for recycling. We will handle the approval, the processing, the scheduling of the shipment. Everything will go through our recycling center here. Once we have these jobs registered, we have to confirm them. We have to approve the project. It all starts with just some simple information about the contractor performing the work, the project name, project location, the type of material, the quantity, if there's any type of timeline, and then the year that the building was constructed. Now, we have an asbestos approval process. So basically, if the building was constructed, and I do apologize because the date on this is a little bit wrong. If it was constructed in 1985 or newer, we would simply just need a signed letter from the owner of the building or a representative. It could also be an officer of the company that occupies that building. And they basically need to write a letter just stating the year that the building was constructed and that there is no asbestos present within that building. During that initial phone call where I gather that information, I can send out an email with a sample letter, which I do that for all the customers, just so they have an idea. It's basically you fill in the blanks, but that is some documentation that we do need for buildings constructed after 1984. If the building was constructed in 1984 or older, we would need the full asbestos survey for that building. You can email that into us. We have a technical team here that will review that and either approve it or deny it. In most cases, we do understand that there is a time crunch. At the most, we would need 1 business day to get a project approved from start to finish. So once we do get the project approved for asbestos and we get it registered into our system, you will be receiving an email back from us with a recycling agreement as well as a logistics form. The agreement needs to be filled out, and basically what that says is that you, the recycler, are agreeing to our terms as far as the transportation, the palletizing of the material. The logistics form, that has the information about your job site, how many pallets we're coming to pick up, whether or not there's a forklift on site. It's just some general information for us to use to help us schedule a pickup. This is information that our carriers require. And once we have all that information back, it normally takes 3 to 5 days to get a pickup scheduled. Sometimes it's less than that, sometimes it's a little bit more, but on average it's about 3 to 5 days. It really all depends what part of the country you're in and what carriers have trucks available. But for the most part, and this does happen quite frequently, we get those last minute calls. We are able to get jobs approved and picked up and moved off of a job site very quickly. Once we have all the paperwork in and the job has been approved, the tiles can be removed. We ask that you palletize them on a 4x4 skid. You can stack them either 4 feet high or 6 feet high. If you stack it 4 feet high, we can double stack it into the truck so we can get more material. It's about 48 pallets for a double stack, and 6 feet high, it's about 24 pallets. Once you have the tiles on pallets, we ask that you shrink wrap them, and then we'll be sending you a return authorization form that must be on every pallet. This allows us to track that material when it comes back to the plant. So this diagram basically just shows the flow of our program. Again, specify right off the bat. You register the project by calling our recycling center, which comes to me. We confirm the job for asbestos, and then it is removed. We have 4 plants across the country that will accept material in and process the recycled material. One of those plants is right here in Pennsylvania, about a half hour from where we are in Lancaster, Marietta, Pennsylvania. We have a plant in Macon, Georgia. We have one in Pensacola, Florida. And we also have one on the West Coast in St. Helens, Oregon. You'll see that Armstrong covers the freight costs, minimum pickup 5 pallets or approximately 8,000 square feet of tiles. In the event where you have a smaller job, let's say 5,000 square feet, 6,000 square feet, we have recycling partners all across the country, whether it be our distributors, whether it be C&D processors. They have signed up to be a part of our program, and what they will do is they will consolidate that material for Armstrong until there is enough for a full load. So, like I had said earlier, what we're trying to do here is make it as easy as possible for GCs and the demolition contractors that are out there actually performing the work. We understand that in not every case, not every job, it is cost effective to palletize every tile that is removed. Thus, that is how our recycling network was created. We wanted to give our customers another option for transporting the material. So we also have a container option. It must be separated from other construction debris. Again, because of that closed loop system, we can't risk bringing back a container full of recycled ceiling tiles that may have other debris in them. That could certainly cause some damage on our end. So it's very important to keep the tiles separated from other construction debris. We ask that you label them properly. Again, there's a lot of different people on a job site, so them having each container labeled properly can, again, lower that potential for other construction debris winding up with the ceiling tile. So what we do is we will remove the container from a job site, and they will take it back to their facility, and they will bale it for us. And then, again, once they have a full truckload, they will call us to come pick up that material. So in the event where there are jobs that are smaller, where you do have to go through a C&D processor, or you have to consolidate it at one of our distributors, there could be a charge for that. It won't be coming from Armstrong. It'll be coming from the company that we refer you to. And aside from that, as far as the containers, as far as the palletizing, that would be the only other charge for that method, excuse me, which would be the cost for the shrink wrap and for the pallets themselves. So once that material gets back to that C&D contractor, they have to site separate all the tiles at the job. And at that point, they run it through their system and they bale it. Again, Armstrong will cover the cost from the C&D processor to our plant. In most cases, if you are dealing with a small job, a lot of contractors do have the means to deliver that material to the C&D processor or to the distributor themselves, at which point it would be eliminating that pickup charge. If you go to that link down at the bottom there, that's a link to a video. It's a case study that we had done fairly recently out in Chicago. It was a CBRE development project. They were putting together a hotel, and we had recycled a couple 100,000 square feet of material. But if you do go to that link, it's a very short video, and I would recommend you checking it out because it really runs through the process. And this would more pertain to the container method, which is who they use. They used one of our recycling partners in Chicago, and they had containers on site. It really shows how smooth this process can be. So I would check that out. And there is a link for that. You can also find that on our website under sustainability videos. So basically, who makes up our network would be, like I said, the C&D processors. We also have a certified recycler network. They are companies that are trained on our process. They're also installers. And then we have our consolidation network, which would be all of our distributors. So the challenges that we face with this, asbestos, the palletizing, the tipping fees, and the material itself. This gets into, again, back to our philosophy of trying to make things as easy as possible. We are willing to explore creative ways to get material from a job site to our plants. So to address the palletizing ceiling tiles on this screen, for an example, we've done large projects, we've done small projects. We have a current project right now where we have a drop trailer on site. This is going to be an ongoing project where they fill up that trailer, they give us a call, we come pick it up, and we drop another one off. That isn't anything that you'll be reading in any of our literature. But again, there's little things that we do like that that make it easier for the contractor. That's our main goal here. We want to keep it cost effective. We want to keep this material out of the landfill, and we want to do it with as little headache as possible. A big part of this project, a big part of this process is the asbestos surveys. We understand that that can be a challenge, getting that from the contractor, getting that from the owner, but that is a very important part of our process, and there really isn't any way around that. We need to be 100% sure that there is no potential for cross-contamination. Again, we use 100% of the recycled material into making new ceiling tiles. In most cases, the landfill and tipping fees are going to be higher than recycling with us. Obviously, it does depend what part of the country you are in. It says here the lowest amount is in Utah at $24.29, and then it can go up to as high as $91 up in May. So you'll see it's across the board, but in most cases it is a lot cheaper to put your material on a pallet and call Armstrong, and we'll come pick it up at no charge to you. We do understand too that, especially with the hot, humid months approaching, there are certain parts of the country where the heat and the humidity can become an issue. One of the things that we cannot accept is material that has been wet or material that has mildew or mold. The ceiling tiles must remain clean and dry at all times. And from what these tiles are composed of, it doesn't take much. I mean, it can be soaked by a rainstorm and be gone. It can be outside under a big tarp, and just from the humidity being trapped can cause mold and mildew on the tile themselves. So again, we're willing to work with you guys to make it as easy as possible, and for all the work that you do to get these tiles on the pallets, we don't want to see any of that hard work go to waste. So again, we're open to explore creative options if space would be an issue, such as a drop trailer, or we could send up a tractor trailer to get a portion of a load if we know that we have another load close in that vicinity. So again, please, if there's any questions, call us, and I'm sure we can come to some sort of solution to make sure that we keep this material out of the landfill. So you'll see there that the Ultima, the Cirrus, and the Dune products have a high recycled content. So again, that can contribute to your post-consumer lead, and they're really the only ceilings that are made from recycled ceiling tiles. And we have the industry's highest level of recycled content, again, from our closed-loop post-consumer process. So that is something that Armstrong takes a lot of pride in, is our GREENPRINT and the options that we offer for products' end-of-life cycle. So again, you can see that video on our website. We also have an impact calculator, which is very interesting to see. Basically how it works is you would enter in the square footage amount of a project, and it would tell you basically how you're helping the environment, whether it be gallons of water that you're saving. It's a pretty interesting tool to use, and if there's any question in the back of your head of why you should recycle, go to our website and enter in some numbers into that environmental impact calculator, and I'm pretty sure that that will help you change your mind. There's also a recycling diversion calculator that will, in essence, show you what you're saving by going through our program. So, like Wayne had mentioned, I am the recycling coordinator. My phone number, fax, and email are listed down there at the bottom. And then Anita Snyder is our environmental sustainability manager. Her contact information is also listed there as well. So all of our sustainability initiatives are really grounded in one objective, and that's inspiring great spaces. That's what our company does. That's what Armstrong is about. We are offering solutions, full solutions for the product, end of life recycling, for the environmental footprint, as well as and impact across the world. So that is all I have for today. If there's any questions, Wayne?
Yes, well, thank you there, Alan. A very good presentation. We're going to now field some questions from the attendees. If you do have a question, just use the GoToWebinar dialog box. I see we already have some questions here, so I'll get started. Does Armstrong have a milk run program to pick up less than truckload quantities?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time? You were breaking up just a little bit.
Does Armstrong have a like a milk run where they pick up partial loads?
That isn't something that we typically do. In most cases, a lot of the jobs that we do get would qualify as being at least 20,000 square feet or higher. And in those cases, we're constantly sending trucks out to those sites and hauling material back. In the event where we do have a partial load, a smaller load, we're open to exploring options and ways to get that material off of your site. We do have plants across the country. Obviously, if you're down in the Georgia area, Atlanta, very close to Macon, which is one of our facilities, you know, we would be more open to sending out a tractor trailer for a partial load. But to answer the question, no, we haven't really done that in the past, but yes, we can absolutely explore that avenue if need be.
Just to follow up with that, Alan, what is your maximum radius, if you will, from your plants for trucking material or spotting a trailer?
As far as Armstrong sending out a trailer to pick up?
Yes.
A partial load or a full load?
A full load.
A full load? We will go anywhere in the country. We'll go up to North Dakota. We'll go down to the tip of Texas. We even go up into Canada as well. So for a full load, there is no limit. If we're talking about partial loads, then we have a couple different options. Location would come into play. We could refer them to one of our recycling partners in that area. But for a full load, there is no limit.
This question is, do you have partners in the New England area? And I guess, in general question, do you have a list of your partners that you do business with?
Yeah, we certainly do. You can actually find that on our website. It's armstrong.com, and you want to go to the Ceiling commercial site. And it's under Sustainability and then Recycling Center. Once you're in that Recycling Center page, you'll see a drop-down that lists all the different regions in our country. You click on your region, and it populates by state the partners that we have in that area. New England, we do have quite a bit. There are certain parts of the country where we don't have a lot of partners. There's some where we don't have any, but in most cases we have one, at least one per state. But obviously in those big major markets, major cities, we have a ton of them. But all up through the Northeast, New England, we have a lot of different options.
Okay. I think I know this answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is there a problem accepting ceiling tiles with lead dust on the tile?
With lead dust on the tile?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, the material needs to be clean and it needs to be dry. We We can't risk any other contaminants on the material that we bring back to the plants, again, because every single tile that we bring back, we use into making new ceiling tiles. So asbestos, lead dust, that would be a no-no. But really, the best course of action would be to get us the asbestos report or the hazardous material report, and that will give us an idea of what that building looks like and what's in that building. And if there's any question, you can always mail us a sample. You can always take some pictures. I mean, something like that lead dust, I'll be honest with you, I've never been in a situation where I've been asked about that. But if there was a question like that, you could send us in just a small little sample. We could send that to our manufacturing plants, and they could determine whether or not that material would be acceptable or not.
Okay, thank you. Do you see many ceiling tiles that are in reusable condition? And if so, have you considered working with reuse stores for the reusing of the material rather than recycling? This question is, they have a nonprofit, a reuse store, and are always looking for new relationships for materials like this.
Right. We have not done anything like that in the past. We use the recycled material almost as a raw material, a raw manufacturing material. So we typically don't send out any of that material like that. What I would recommend for them is to contact their municipality or their township, wherever they are. I know they always have resources, and I get a lot of calls. We only deal with the commercial market, but I get a lot of calls on the residential side asking, how do I recycle, 25 tiles, 50 tiles. In most cases, I send them to their local township or municipality. If they have a nonprofit organization, I'm sure they could team up with their local government, and perhaps they could be added to their website as a resource for recycling. That would be my suggestion for that. But unfortunately, all the material that we take back, we use.
Okay. I have a question now, and it seems like there's a lot of do-it-yourselfers who, is there any way they could work with like a local, like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, to accept that material, and those stores in turn could have full loads of you. I guess there's issues with the certifications and so forth. So if you can just comment on that.
Yeah, we do not deal with Home Depot or Lowe's. They mainly deal with the residential products. But if this is piggybacking on the previous question, yes, I would absolutely suggest them reaching out to a Home Depot or Lowe's, because they deal with all the do-it-yourselves. And it's very possible that they may be a source for ceiling tiles that are in good shape. But it's a shame because, like I said, I do get a lot of calls, and I think in most cases the homeowner or the do-it-yourselfer, that product probably winds up in the trash. But if these big box stores had a place to send these people, I'm sure they would be able to find some good material that they could reuse.
Right. Okay. Looks like we're done with the questions, so we're going to wrap up this presentation. Again, this webinar, like all the webinars in this series, has been recorded and will be made available via YouTube links on both the National Recycling Coalition and Recycling Market Center websites. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us, and we hope you'll join us for next month's webinar. Please visit the NRC and RMC websites for scheduled updates. And thank you again, Alan, for this great presentation, and I'm sure you'll get some feedback from the audience.
All right.
So
thank you very much for your time.
All right. Have a great day.